Hello everyone and welcome to this Veela Foot Fighter build. There's a huge build variation in the Alvarins in general, but we will cover here the Foot Fighter Veela like we did with the Foot Archer video. Link to the other Veela builds is in the description, by the way. So because of the huge variety, you just have to sacrifice some things with certain builds. So I saw many people using this build, so I will present it here. But first you must look on your own what fits your playstyle in general and not directly copy any of that. And with Dex Fighter builds, there's often the problem is everyone is just looking on the speed and who's the fastest. But that is maybe not the best, because there are many other factors included like health and so on, but you will see it shortly. Okay, let's start creating our Veela. So in general, we will make a Veela age 31 because of the Clade Gifts that you can neglect some negative attribute points. And the highest size because more size means more damage bonus and also more health. Okay, these are the final stats and the Clade Gifts are already calculated in that. More to the Clade Gifts later in the video. So for example, at your character creation, it's just important that you pick the age 31. You can change this later with some in-game items and stuff. Also the size and your weight, so no problems here. But now currently during the beta times, you can't just change your age and size and stuff. But you skill up very fast, so yeah, that is a plus. And we make our Veela overweight. That he can get up to 197 health, which is a lot of health actually, because for example, a Stout Thuzaur, the highest size, has 225 I think, and a human Kalad has 205 it was, or 210. Sure, depending on your build. And don't forget the speed of this Veela, because you have your 111 dex. That will give you a lot of opportunity to kite people. If you're fighting 101 with, for example, a human Kalad or a Thuzaur or something like that, then you can kite these people pretty hard and they will feel really pissed. But remember, you're not the #1 kiter. You can only kite people that are really slow. But then you also have the option of the Stout Veela. And to compare this, the green numbers is the Stout Veela. As you can see, if you want to make a Foot Archer and stuff like that, then maybe the Stout Veela is a better option because you have more strength and you have also more speed. But that is heavily dependent on your playstyle. I mean, the problem is you will have about 20 health less, and 20 health in a duel or a 101 fight, even a 2 versus 1 fight. I mean, 20 health can really save your ass. So in general, it really depends on what you need. I mean, yeah, you have 6 more stamina, and the speed difference is in numbers about 1% in the normal walking speed, and the combat speed is actually the same. So it sounds not much on paper, but in practice I made a speed test. I will link it in the description. But in Mortal, the general rule of thumb is you always have to sacrifice something to be very good at something. I mean, we have currently a huge variety of builds and stuff, but what I often see is are the heavy fighters and the dex fighters, and in between there's like not much. But with that build, for example, close combat is a little bit easier than with some other builds. So let's talk about the Clade Gifts next. Oh yeah, that is actually a lot, but we don't need all of that. Some of that is actually nearly a no-brainer, and some of that you have to skill just to get the good stuff. But just to name a few, here for example is the archer's arm and the archer's shoulder included. But sure, if you don't skill archery, then throw it away and use something like, I don't know, maybe you are a lumberjack and just want to search some rare woods and stuff. Or you pick 4 more Psy and Int. But Int, for example, doesn't make sense as a Dex Foot Fighter. You should put all your leftover points in Psy, because with Psy you get more magic resistance. For example, the Clade Gift Mind Shield reduces all incoming magic damage by 20% for a short amount of time. And here comes the clue. Because of your speed, and maybe you have also a bow, but because alone of your speed, you are able to chase mages. For example, if it's an Ogmir on foot, then it is no problem. The only thing that you can't chase with your speed is another Alvarin, that is Stout or Lean, for example. Then of course the resting pulse that you gain more additional stamina points while standing still is pretty good if you Foot Archer a little bit. But even in a normal fight, if you're just standing there and blocking, for example, just one hit and something, and you're just standing 1, 2, seconds, maybe 3 seconds. And this will actually give you a huge advantage in close combat fights if you're wearing a little bit heavier armor and burning your stamina really quick. And of course, also important, the Clade Gifts about speed. The runner and the sprinter Clade Gift, and also the runner's high, that you can chase people even further and can really reach them if they have low HP and running away from you. Then you can just use it to run behind them and stick them in the back and kill them. And also pretty funny, true sight, additional weak spot chance. That is pretty good for a dagger fighter. But yeah, depending on how they rework the weak spot materials and stuff, this could be really interesting. So let's talk a little bit about the skills. So here you can change, of course, the skills to your liking. I will just explain a few. I took active regeneration because these were the leftover points. You could pick something more useful there. Aiming technique because this is also a foot archer, or more or less can be a very good foot archer. Anatomy for proper bandage healing. Archery, yeah, of course. Armor training, that you can wear decent armor, of course. Blocking, yeah, this is a no-brainer. Combat maneuvering 2 in close combat. Controlled aiming depends if you really need that. For all who don't know, you can hold your breath while shooting with a bow. It was the shift control or alternative key. I don't remember it correctly because I don't use it often. Endurance for more stamina, and that you can also skill passive regeneration and stuff. Heavy armor training is optional depending on what armor you are wearing. I mean, I saw this Veela build in Kronite. A friend of mine also saw a lot of these Veelas in some heavy gear. And because of your awesome stamina regeneration, this is possible without a problem. But to be honest, like everything, it fucking depends. Marksmanship for headshots and weak spot shots. Sprinting, yeah, there's a no-brainer. And a weapon, of course, a weapon of your choice. The main choice for really speedy characters and stuff is often the daggers. And the swords are also very good, and anything that is very light and don't use a lot of stamina and do decent damage. And for example, if you don't like the archery sub-skills there, then you can also learn mounted archery with this build. Just throw away the controlled aiming and the marksmanship, and then you have enough points with your active regeneration also reduced and stuff. And if you're still missing points for creature control or even taming, then you can also reduce the aiming technique. And then you are a pretty decent dex foot fighter, and you're also a mounted archer. I mean, literally with every build, everything is possible. But what I suggest to you is, okay, you search for what do you want in the game, what do you will do in the game. Then you should test and try something out. Then you will know what you actually doing in game. Then you should take the time and try, and also going through the whole skill list. And then you look what skill does exactly what, and what benefit can I get out of that when I'm playing with my playstyle that I want to play. And then you change your skills according to that. And then after that, you should choose your character. I mean your Clade. Because then it's easier to decide which Clade you want to choose. Because I saw many people in the forums complaining about, I don't know what I should play. And the main stuff that comes often, okay, what do you want to play? And then the people often writing, I want to be an archer, a mounted archer, a mage, a foot fighter, I want to be a heavy maul fighter. And I want to tame my own animals, and I want to have brown bears that are fighting the enemies if I get attacked. And I want to craft my own weapons and also my own armor. And yeah, that is often the main problem, that people feeling limited, but in fact they aren't, because you can skill pretty fast in another direction, and they have problems to decide how I want to play the next 10,000 hours or something like that. I mean, I can understand that. I also have sometimes a problem with, should I really play this character? And then you play it, and after 1 month or 2 months or something like that, you don't even think about, did I make the right choice? I mean, just try everything out, that you have at least played every style that you have in mind that you could play or want to play. Then decide for one, and then just be happy with it. Sometimes you die about some stupid stuff, and no, it's not because you picked an Alvarin instead of an Thuzar or whatever. I mean, most people die because some stupid combat decisions they made, and not because they have 5 health less or 10 points more stamina. I mean, the very rare cases exist, but I bet my ass that 90% dying because of some stupid combat decisions instead of choosing the wrong glade for the combat situation. So I really hope you found this guide helpful, even with the off-topic talk in the end. Sorry for that. So I hope you find your way of the ninja at the warrior, I mean. Special thanks to my Patreon supporters Carmel, Professor O, Donski and all the others. Please leave a like and subscribe. And always remember to make party hard. See you all next time. Goodbye.